central depots, and public library is a sort of prototype. Doesn't sound very exciting? Well, it's very exciting. You meet lots of people in the library and then, alright, C, associated production. Now that's another, how will we produce things? How will we produce things? Well, we talked a little bit about that last time, but we will participate collectively, organize production by thinking together, working together collectively, assigning tasks to people. People will rotate through tasks. Yes, so we can talk about cooperative work. There are examples of all these things, even in the world in which we live. Only, of course, they're very marginal. The idea, of course, under communism, is that this realm of necessity would itself be organized in a much more democratic, collective manner. Yes. Okay, any thoughts about this? Yes, Hannah.
Curiosity is complex, that everybody in society can come to consensus about their needs.
Ah, very good. Very good. I think that's a very interesting question. He defines, and we'll come to it when we talk to Lenin, but Marx actually defines communism, anybody know? From people according to their ability, to each according to their need, and didn't pose the question of how, to what extent those needs are in opposition to one another, irreconcilable sometimes. We can only spend a certain amount of time producing things whose needs are going to be satisfied. I think this is a very important point there, and the question is, can one resolve this in a democratic way? The idea would be that, yes, indeed, some people will have to make sacrifices. They'll have to do without their Ferrari. But we will at least collectively decide what is produced. So some people's needs may not be quite satisfied as other people's needs. You're absolutely correct. Annie?
Does he imagine this as the sum of billions of people in the world together?
Right. Now, look, yes, the scale we don't know. And he never says anything like this. This is me. I'm trying to imagine what this might mean. Right? So, but, yes, the scale problem is an enormous problem. Again, we'll hit this when we get to Lenin. Are we talking about something organized locally, nationally, and globally? Well, what do Marx and Engels say in the German ideology? Hands up. What do Marx and Engels say, Katie? It needs to be global. It's worldwide. But it's not clear how this planning will be. Communism has to be everywhere. It has to be simultaneously all over the world. But it doesn't say, what units there will be within that global organization, whether there will be nations or whether there will be localities. We don't know. We really don't know. Of course, this is a very big issue. Very big issue. What is the scale and how is it organized? Yes, Juliana.
Abolition of private property, then our governments are going to, go off of the new material reality. So,
our governments are going to?
Our governments are going to be formed according to this new material reality. There's no private property, so the laws of climate aren't as important anymore. So then the government's on the civic and then national, and then we'll just kind of fall into place.
Yes, one could imagine that there may be some sort of hierarchical system. Local, national, global. There may be some sort of hierarchy. We don't know. No, he didn't want any blueprints. We don't know. But you've got to be very careful with this concept, government. Marx says, what do Marx and Engels say about what happens to government and the communism? Simeon, sorry.
Withers away.
Yes, the state, we haven't actually read the text of that, but we will read the part of it. The state will wither away, but still there will be possibly some sort of central planning. What withers away is the what part of the state?
Repressive.
The coercive arm of the state. Why does the coercive, repressive arm of the state wither away? Because, Neil?
Its job is supposed to maintain the equality
between classes, and classes have disappeared, therefore the coercive arm of the state is no longer necessary. So we have to be careful with the word government. So there will be probably some sort of central planning. It will not be just a bunch of localities. There will be some organization, but we will not be careful not to call it a state. Yes. But anyway, the scale problem is a big issue. Big issue. Yes, Alex?
Bicycle together than the medicine for HIV, for example. It's if you're going to rotate inventing an HIV medicine and that's a chance to need it.
Ah, yes, right. Well, but what we will do, we will have a coordinated effort in developing HIV medication. We'll not compete one laboratory with another for funds from the state, but we will collectively, it will be much more of a collaborative process. It's probably important under certain circumstances to indeed specialize. This does not preclude specialization. It does not impose it, though. That's the point. Certain circumstances may indeed require, if you're in the realm of freedom, of course, you want to be a pianist, you want to spend a lot of time playing the piano. But even here, the idea is, what sort of jobs will be rotated in particular? What sort of jobs will be rotated in particular, Katie? Janitorial jobs. Those jobs that are so-called de-skilled, degraded, and stigmatized in the world in which we live today. Those will be, and some of them will be eliminated. We don't need janitors. We can basically have machines that do the work of janitors. Right? No? Don't think so. Why does this make you turn you into hysterics?
It's just silly. That would never happen.
Never happen. You see, when you think about communism, you've got to open up your imagination. There are all sorts of new machines that could be developed under communism called communist machines.
That work is valuable. That work is valuable.
Yes, very valuable. But do you want to spend your life janitoring? Perhaps under communism, it will be the way in which many people will fulfill their talents, sweeping up. Yeah, perhaps that's the case. Well, then we will decide not to have a janitorial machine. Yes.
Isn't there an idea that each...
Who are you? Isaac.
So setting aside communist regimes, isn't there this idea that every person will participate in these different jobs, so possibly, like part of participating in manufacturing or agriculture or territorial work, as well as, physics or calculus or whatever.
Now you've got to be very careful to separate the realm of freedom where you move from occupation or activity to activity, and this realm of necessity where it's probably less likely that you're an astrophysicist one day and a janitor. Well, I don't know. Astrophysicists have laboratories. You could be actually an astrophysicist, and it would do you good to appreciate what it means to sweep up in the laboratory. But an astrophysicist as opposed to a medical doctor. Yes. Yes. So yes. What's your name again? Isaac.
Isn't that part of it that you would share, that, for example, you work in one place and you share in different responsibilities in that place of work. So researching as well as picking up yourself while you're
Yes. In that one workplace. But I got the impression you were going from workplace to workplace. It's not clear there will be rotation from one workplace to a completely different workplace where you could acquire completely different sorts of skills.
But the janitorial work could be local too.
Yes. No, absolutely. No, you could be an astrophysicist one day and you could partake in janitorial work the next. Absolutely. There will be definitely a sense of job rotation within workplaces. Yes, Marianne.
What about the problem of sauntering, as described by Adam Smith?
What's sauntering?
Well, like when you're an agricultural worker, you go from hoeing to planting to all the things. You spend so much time in swaggering, you don't really care how.
Do you think that really happens? That's swaggering is the function of the pre-capitalist production system. We'll be post-capitalist, and we will not even know was it sauntering or swaggering? Sauntering. Yeah, I know. There may be some sort of inefficiencies, but just think of the efficiencies of doing this. Just think of the efficiencies. What would be the benefits of this sort of associated production? Neil.
Going back to your gender example, I think that because the society is now cooperative, everyone would just clean up after themselves. So you wouldn't need,
One possibility is that you wouldn't need janitors either because of machines or people clean up after themselves. Right. But certainly people would not be committed to being janitors their entire life. That is the point here. And that job rotation, Marx would argue, would actually invigorate people. Would invigorate their mind and their body. And so that's a good thing. But also, what happens when you have associated cooperative production? What sort of people disappear, Kristen?
Well, I was just going to say, this is going to sound really cliche, but people are going to be a little more apt to be a little more, cognizant of what they're doing and how they're doing it. Like in some Japanese elementary schools, what they do is all these little kids, even, like little third graders, will rotate in lunchroom duty. So that, 1 week there'll be a couple of kids that, do all the finalized cleanup, and most of the kids really clean up after themselves. So there are some things that just take an extra person to run through and do. So.
Right, but I want to return to the point you started with, that we're cognizant of a bigger picture. I think if people rotating between jobs, they'll have a better sense of the whole picture, and they'll be able to contribute imaginatively to innovations.
Right.
Contra Smith. Against Smith. They'll see the bigger picture if they're rotating jobs. But who will be eliminated in this cooperative system?
Lower classes that are stuck doing that.
Well, that's right. That's definitely people who will be stupefied and stuck in it. But who else will be eliminated in this system? Jason. The bosses. We don't need any bosses. We'll boss ourselves, right? We will collectively organize. We will not have these huge bureaucracies that are involved in surveillance and supervision. They exist, according to Marx and Engels, because we exist in a world of class domination. The subordinate class has to be controlled, because if you don't control them, they will rebel. So there is enormous mechanisms of control. I don't know if anybody's ever come across any of these mechanisms in their lives. Anybody got any good examples of mechanisms of control?
Drug tests.
Drug tests. Where are you taking drug tests?
When you get a job.
When you get a job?
They make sure you're not smoking weed.
What else? Yes, Jason?
I have a friend who works at a hospital, and they recently found out that they hired companies twice to make sure that they were, doing their job, and whoever was talking about organizing, they just keep an eye on it. They cause patients.
That's interesting. Josephine?
In Mexico, the mafia along the border, women are doing lots of factory work,
But the point is not just that it's men, but there are lots of people who are actually engaged in surveillance mechanisms. You could say all supervisors, all managers are really most of their job is not coordination, that's part of it, but a lot of it's control. Control. Think about it when you're next to working wherever you work. Whether you really need that supervisor. Yes, right. Right. All right. Anyway, I think a lot of things can be saved. This could be a much more efficient system, this cooperative system. All right. What else might be saved in this system? What else might be saved? Well, when we vote to produce things, all sorts of things that we produce today might not be produced. We do spend a lot of time and a lot of energy producing, for example, Ferraris. For example, iPhones. Well, iPhones might be pretty useful in the communism because they will build this. I think iPhones. I would keep iPhones. I would vote for iPhones. No, you're against that, Chelsea. Sort of. Why are you against iPhones?
Because under communism, I think a general new logic would rise about what was actually necessary and what wasn't, and not having these multitasking gadgets that can do, like those toilets in Japan that can do like everything. They wipe for you,
They wipe.
yes, everything is bidet style.
Well, very good. Well, okay. The interesting question are those toilets apart, whether the iPhones are the new technology for communism to build relations multifaceted. No, okay. We would have a discussion, a collective discussion, and then we would vote. Yes. What things really don't we need in a communist society, Jane?
Marx might get rid of fashion. Marx might get rid of fashion.
Might get rid of fashion, might get rid of fashion. Marx might, but we are collecting. It doesn't matter what. Yeah, one thing is we have fetishized commodities. We're obsessed with commodities. Advertising is all about, and that was another thing that would go. Advertising, trying to convince us to buy something that looks exactly the same as something else. Right? Spend a lot of time, a lot of money, a lot of resources. What else goes? Things like, yes, Isaac, oh no, Sienna.
ShamWow.
ShamWow.
It's a
That means that soaks up water, you have to press
Sienna, I need your help. What's a ShamWow? Shh.
It's basically a glorified sponge paper towel machine. They say you'll never buy paper towels again. It's a ShamWow.
Sienna's being tricked by advertising agencies. Okay, no ShamWows. Okay, fine. But what else? All right, it's the same idea. Commodities I think electric toothbrushes are a complete con. Right, yes, Isaac. Missiles. We're not going to be fighting wars organized. Why do we have all these weapons and missiles? Well, Marx and Engels are saying in part we have them because certain people make profit from them. Yes. Well, that's probably debatable in some people's eyes based on a complicated story, but in a communist world, presumably they're not going to be the nature of the conflicts that we experience in this world. So all sorts of weapons, all weapons in principle would disappear. That would be an enormous saving. We would have a national health service that would not be dependent on insurance companies. There are all sorts of savings we can make. And the point of the savings is what in the end? The point of the savings is what? And you've got to get this point. This is the most crucial point. Why do we want to make these savings? Why do we want to reduce the amount of waste? Why do we want to be producing things more efficiently and productively? David? So people have more time to devote to the realm of freedom. It is no good if we are organizing ourselves collectively, democratically, in the realm of necessity, if we're still spending 10 hours a day working. Because the realm of freedom will not exist. If we are working 10 hours a day, we will be as worn out. What's your name? Mike. We'll be as worn out as Mike. Mike doesn't even have the imagination of the realm of freedom because he's working 20 hours a week and he's taking 5 courses. There's no realm of freedom. You're just worn out. So worn out, he's completely expressionless when I look at him. Laugh has come. Very good. Yes. The realm of freedom requires a reduction of the length of the working day. Either we'll spend 2 hours every day or we'll just work 2 days a week. But that is a necessary prerequisite for the true realm of freedom. We cannot be in a world where we are continually overworked in this realm of necessity. Even this wonderful organization of work here will not be liberating in the sense that the realm of freedom was. So the point of reducing waste, of making things more efficient, of reducing actually what we need is to expand our possibilities of developing ourselves in a realm of freedom. Yes. Okay. Good. That was my summary. That was 5. The revised communism, and then I suppose basically 5 was all, you're right. 5 was all the reduction of the length of the working day. All the stuff that we talked about down here. How we would reorganize the realm of necessity. Okay, alright, now, how are we going to get there? That's the next question. Now we're all convinced we want to be there. Well, perhaps or perhaps not. But if we are, we want to know how we're going to get there. And of course, can we get there? Well, what do Marx and Engels say? And we're going to discuss this again later on, but what do Marx and Engels say in the German ideology about the transition to communism? What is the transition to communism going to involve first and foremost? It's going to involve the abolition of private property, the abolition of classes, abolition of exploitation. That is a necessary condition for the realm of necessity to be contracted and the realm of freedom to be expanded. So, how are we going to abolish private property? How are we going to abolish classes? What has to happen for this to take place? A revolution. In fact, the 5 people said it must be true. Yes, that's what Marx and Engels say. There has to be a revolution. And a revolution is necessary. Why? Jenny.
It's the only way for the working class to rise up, and also it's necessary to just get rid of all the trouble that we're in. We have to just fight back in order to rid ourselves of the muck.
The muck of ages. Page, those Tuckers, those precious Tuckers. That's one thing we'll never abolish. And we will abolish Tucker, but not Marx and Engels reader. We'll abolish Tucker.